Today, we're going to go through all of the dining options on Norwegian's Escape right after this. Hey everyone, Johnny from Bite Size Cruises. Welcome back to our channel. If it is your first time here, we're a travel agency. We specialize in cruise travel. Our goal here is to give you just the best information we can about any of these cruise ships or cruise lines so you can go on an amazing cruise adventure. If you love cruising and you're into the cruise lifestyle, come on in and join us. Please subscribe. We'd love to have you along for the ride. So today we're going to talk about all of the dining options on Norwegian Escape. We're doing this little series on a bunch of different cruise ships. So we're going to be doing dining today, then entertainment. We're going to go through all the different things on the ship, and then we're going to come back and we're going to review those things. We're going to talk about what we liked, what we didn't like. So today we're going to go through what those options are, where they're located, and next week we're going to talk about how we feel about them. So first we're going to start off with complimentary items. The first ones we are going to do are taste and savor. They're on deck 6. There's a little bar that separates the two of them. On any given day, they are open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Please check your Freestyle daily for times or check the NCL app to see and to make sure they're open. Sometimes if you're on a port or it's a sea day, they're going to open a little bit later or earlier for breakfast. Sometimes one side's going to be open and the other side's not, just for flow or because it's not that busy. So keep an eye on those things when you go down there. Generally speaking, breakfast, not too crowded. Should be able to get in without a problem. Lunch, same thing. Dinner, sometimes you have to wait a little bit, depending on what time you get there. Norwegian is the cruise line that kind of pioneered the freestyle dining and really just freestyle everything on the cruise ship. Come as you are, no real specific dress code. Eat whenever you want to eat, go to different shows, do different things, kind of enjoying your cruise adventure any way that you want to enjoy it. So going to Taste and Savor, there's not this big, elaborate, old school dining room like there is on some of the older ships or even some of the newer ships, different cruise lines. They kind of just have these two very utilitarian rooms. Go grab something to eat and then get out on your adventure again. So Taste and Savor, deck 6. You will see a recurring theme on most of the Norwegian ships that are Breakaway or Breakaway Plus class, and this is a Breakaway Plus ship. Everything is really located from a dining perspective, for the most part, is going to be 6, 7, and 8. There are outliers to that, and we'll talk about those, but for the most part, 6, 7, and 8 are where you're going to find things. So next up, let's talk about Ocean's Bar and Grill on deck 7. So this overlooks the kind of centrum area of the cruise ship where you have the atrium. You'll see a bunch of different options down in the atrium. There's usually a big screen there. They do some of the games and trivia there. There's usually a Starbucks there or something on the newer ships. So Ocean's kind of looks over that. So in the evening, if you want to watch a show, but it's crowded down in the atrium, you could jump right up top into Ocean's there. Ocean's, same thing, open for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and late night snacks. Pretty much open 24 hours a day. They do close to turn over tables and to clean and to do some things just to get ready for the next shift. But for the most part, you can pretty much eat there anytime during the day, and there is no charge. It is included in your cruise fare. So you can go there, standard bar food. You're going to get hot dogs, hamburgers, chicken wings, pretzel bites, anything you would imagine getting at a sports bar. It's kind of your local kind of bar and grill. So that is open all the time. Go there, enjoy yourself. It does look down into the atrium. It is a fun spot. There are some arcade games there, some darts there. It's a cool spot, so go check that out on deck 7. Next up, also on deck 7, we're going to talk about the Manhattan room. I like the Manhattan room a lot. We're going to talk about the food in a little bit. Right now, I'm just going to talk about the kind of ambiance and decor. So when you go into the Manhattan room, it's like an old-fashioned supper club-ish kind of deal, right? So you walk in and there's a big stage and there's tables all around it. If you're in one of the higher rooms, which we'll talk about in a little bit, you can actually look down into the Manhattan room. I like the area. I think it's a cool room. It's just another main dining room. They do have singing and dancing in there most nights, so it's a little more lively. But again, just another option to kind of reduce flow around the ship and make things not as crowded and give you more options where you could just show up and get something to eat without having to wait or without having to be in a room with 1,100 people. So the Manhattan room is a pretty big room. So you go in there, again, you'll see singers and dancers and some things during the night. But again, just another main dining room, generally only open for dinner, and they do have some private things go on there during the day, but it is your main dining room food. So next up, we will talk about one of the options that's not on deck 6, 7, or 8, and that's the Garden Cafe. All the way obviously up top on your pool deck on 16. The Garden Cafe on most of the Breakaway and Breakaway Plus class ships is very large, wraps around the whole back of the ship. One of the things I loved on some of the older NCL ships was they had the Great Outdoors, which was like an outdoor extension of the Garden Cafe. Some ships have it, some ships don't. But that is usually where they have late night snacks. Late night snacks are one of my favorite things on NCL. Royal Caribbean doesn't really do that because there's so many grab and go options, and you can go to Sorrento's or any of those things. But NCL does like a little late night snacks thing where you can go up onto into the buffet, and they have cookies and chips and salsa and queso and those things. And to me, it's just like a really fun way to end the night. We'll talk about more about the Garden Cafe when we talk about food, but it's your standard buffet food. They're going to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, as we mentioned, and it will be your standard buffet fare. Now we're going to talk about specialty dining and a la carte dining, and we're going to start with one that I think a lot of people forget about, and that is room service. Room service now is an upcharge. You can get some things for breakfast. You can get like coffee and tea and continental breakfast at no charge. That's why it's a good kind of like bridge into specialty dining and a la carte dining. There is usually a one-time charge for room service. It's usually $7.95. You can order for as much food as you want, and you just get hit with that one-time charge. But there is a charge, so we're going to call it a la carte. Room service food is room service food. It's usually comforting. You don't feel like getting out of bed. You just want to crash in your room. I generally like to get breakfast, sometimes room service, so that it comes early in the morning. You have your coffee. I don't have to leave and go anywhere. But any other time, they're mass producing food on a cruise ship, and it's going to take 45 minutes to get up to your room. It's not going to be great. Room service food's never great. Pizza, however, is usually pretty good. But again, $7.95 charge, and we'll talk about the actual food next week when we rate everything. Next up, we're going to talk about teppanyaki. Teppanyaki is on deck 6 midship, and that is your sushi and hibachi. So I love teppanyaki. This is one of our traditions. Sometimes when we're on NCL, we usually do teppanyaki as our sail away dinner. So right after we sail away, we'll go to teppanyaki, get our hibachi on. It's always fun. The chefs are amazing. They sing. They're doing a little show. It's just a great way to start off your kind of vacation. So teppanyaki, you're going to have options. You can get obviously anything on the hibachi. They have a bunch of different options. We'll talk about the food in a little bit. And then you have your sushi options if you prefer sushi. It's a little bit different than Royal Caribbean, where Royal Caribbean has azumi and it's sushi on one side, hibachi on the other. You can order anything. You could do that at on Royal as well, but it's just set up a little bit differently on Norwegian. So next one up is going to be Le Bistro. This is also deck 6 midship, right in the middle there of 6, 7, 8, which is like the entertainment plaza. So Le Bistro is going to be French, kind of standard French food. Lots of different options from filet mignon to coq au vin. You're going to see all your traditional French things. You will have some interesting options there. They do have a partnership with Veuve for champagne and some interesting French wines. And that is midship specialty dining, as well as teppanyaki is specialty dining. There is a cover charge, and you pretty much get everything that's included in that cover charge. Teppanyaki is great as well. Same thing, cover charge. Next one up is the Atrium Cafe. This is going to be a little more of an a la carte option. So grab and go sometimes at the Atrium Cafe. In that area, you're going to have a Starbucks as well. So if there's a Starbucks there, you can use your Starbucks cards if their kiosk is working for that. But also at the Atrium Cafe, you're going to have some grab and go like desserts and things like that you do have to pay for. So just be aware of that. And usually there's a bar there as well. So next up, Supper Club. This is going to be a kind of old school dinner theater kind of vibe. there's a charge for this. Some shows have like an actual show. Like we saw Noise Boys on Getaway on Escape. They do have the supper club where they're going to have singing and dancing, and you do pay a cover, and you're going to have dinner. The dinner, however, I will say, and we will rate these things, but the dinner is going to be a pretty standard food dinner, just so you're aware. You're paying more for the show. So if that's cool with you, there you go. Next up is going to be Bayamo by Ocean Blue, and Supper Club is on deck 6, just so you're aware. Bayamo by Ocean Blue, deck 8, right on the upper end of the 6, 7, 8 entertainment plaza there. One of my favorite restaurants on any cruise ship. It's really, really kind of elegant and nice as compared to like Hooked, where I think Hooked is a little more casual. On Royal Caribbean, Ocean Blue, Bayamo by Ocean Blue is going to be a little more classy and elegant. I really like it. We'll rate the food next week, but that is located on deck 8, seafood restaurant. Pretty self-explanatory there, but you're going to get some really cool seafood dishes, some Thai seafood dishes, lobster, all of those things. Cover charge as well with some upcharges for lobster, for instance. Next up, Food Republic, completely a la carte. Love this concept. You go in there and it's like basically American fusion options. So you'll get some Chinese food, some Japanese food, some street food options, some Latino kind of options, Mexican options. And basically you get an iPad in front of you and you just order to your heart's content. When we were on the Escape, we made the mistake. There was like 6 of us that went to dinner. We ordered like $200 and some worth of food. I'm not sure why we did that. We had sushi rolls. We had all kinds of like rock shrimp appetizers, all kinds of things. We ordered way too much food, which can happen. But I love the option. I love all the different things. And basically, it's just tapas. They bring it out when it's ready. You could share things at the table. It's a cool kind of group experience if you go with a group of people, or if you just want to have a quiet lunch and you want something a little more upscale. And that is on deck 8. It's going to be across from District Brew House. So it's kind of off the side of the ship, which creates some cool seating as well up there because you can kind of see off the side of the ship there. Next up is Moderno, which is going to be your Brazilian steakhouse. So Moderno, I had this thing for a couple of years. I went to Moderno, I don't know, years ago, and I hated it. I had a really bad experience there, and I didn't go back. And then last year I was on Getaway, and I went to Moderno, and it was excellent. They made a lot of changes. So again, this is your traditional Brazilian steakhouse. You're going to go in, there's going to be a salad bar. You're going to go up and grab some salad. The salad bar is incredible. And then you're going to sit down and the meats are going to come out. I went by myself, probably not the best idea, and we'll get into it more when we review the food. But again, really fun group experience. You know, you flip your card from green to red if you want them to keep bringing over meats. Cool spot. So La Cucina up next, deck 8. Again, you see the kind of thing we have going on with 6, 7, 8. Most of the restaurants are on 6, 7, or 8. La Cucina is an Italian restaurant. You're going to get your pastas, your pizzas, your chicken parms, your pasta fazool soups, all of those type of things. Classic comfort Italian food on deck 8 across from Sid Norman's Poorhouse. Pincho's Tapas Bar is also on deck 8, and that is just going to be your kind of grab-and-go Mexican fare. A la carte options there. Galore, you can go there. That is up in that little area as well, right overlooking that 6, 7, 8 place above the casino there. And then there's 2 more paid options on this ship. You're going to have the American Diner. So this is kind of compared to Johnny Rockets, and we'll rate them when we talk about it, but you're going to get burgers, fries, milkshakes, the usual standard like 50s kind of diner feel. And then the last one is the Haven Restaurant. Not really a specialty dining restaurant, because if you're in a suite or you're in the Haven, it is complimentary. However, since you're really is an upcharge, I wanted to include it here. The Haven Restaurant is for Haven guests only. You're not allowed to just wander in there and grab dinner. And it is an upscale dining, kind of the main dining room for Haven guests. So it's located in the Haven complex there and for Haven guests only. All right, almost forgot about Cagney's. Don't want to do that. So we're going to do Cagney's right now as well. I don't know how I forgot that. Cagney's also located on deck 8 above the Manhattan room there. It's going to be right in the same area as Moderno. Obviously, you got all your meats together, and you could see I really love Cagney's. I do have feelings about that versus Chops Grill, but this is Cagney's. Again, standard kind of dark, fun, very typical steakhouse. So those are your dining options on the Norwegian Escape. There's also some other little nooks and crannies, and we'll talk about those when we do our review. But for now, that is it. Tomorrow, we're going to do entertainment options on NCL Escape, where we saw one of the best shows I've ever seen on a cruise ship. So again, thanks everyone. Please subscribe, please like the video, and we will see y'all tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. Thanks. Bye.